You ever been in a relationship that feels like a stormy sea? One moment you're pulling your partner close, and the next you're pushing them away, just caught in this endless cycle of confusion and, honestly, pain. Today, we're going to get into the incredibly complex dynamic between two partners who both have a fearful avoidant attachment style. Let's dive in and really understand what's going on beneath the surface.
Wow. This quote, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's this incredibly painful paradox. You have this deep, totally human need for connection that is constantly at war with an equally deep-seated fear of that very same thing. If you've ever felt that internal tug of war, you know exactly how much chaos it can stir up.
Okay, so what does that paradox actually look and feel like inside the relationship? We're about to explore that push-pull dynamic, that constant dizzying feeling of being on a roller coaster you just can't seem to get off of.
And we're not just talking about your average disagreement here. This is a fundamental instability because both partners are often carrying around a negative view of themselves and a negative view of other people. Trust is just incredibly fragile. And look, this isn't because they're bad people, not at all. It's because their past experiences have hardwired them to believe that getting close is dangerous. Just recognizing that pattern is the absolute first step to changing it. So this whole experience often swings between two really volatile extremes. On one side, you've got hyperarousal. That's that intense, anxious energy, maybe some jealousy or even an outburst. Then just like that, it can flip to the other side, hypoarousal, a complete shutdown, feeling numb, avoiding eye contact, maybe even literally bolting from the room. It's this really rapid, jarring switch that's so disorienting for everyone. And here is the really tragic irony of it all. The person you want comfort from the most often becomes the very person who triggers your deepest fears. Can you imagine that bind? The whole system becomes so finely tuned to any perceived threat that even the tiniest action can get misinterpreted as a sign that you're about to be rejected or abandoned.
So why? Why does this happen? What is going on underneath the surface that creates this kind of storm? In this next section, we're going to dig into the psychological roots of this whole dynamic. So a huge piece of the puzzle is this concept called impaired mentalization. I know it sounds a little technical, but all it really means is that you kind of lose the ability to accurately guess what your partner is thinking or feeling. You're not seeing their real intention, you're seeing everything through a filter of your own past fears. Let's see how this actually plays out. Imagine one partner makes a bid for connection. They lean in, they ask for some quality time, they're just trying to get closer. But because of that impaired mentalization, that bid for closeness doesn't land as love. It's perceived as a threat, like someone is trying to trap or control you. And that perception is what triggers that powerful, reflexive impulse to pull away.
Okay, now let's look at the flip side. What happens when one partner says they need a little bit of space, some time to themselves? A perfectly healthy and normal request in any relationship.
Well, to the person with a fearful avoidance style, that can feel like the end of the world. That request for space is heard as, I am rejecting you completely, and that triggers a massive abandonment crisis, and that desperate, anxious clinging that we saw earlier. And the roots of this, well, they often run deep, way back to unresolved childhood trauma. This can happen when a child's caregivers, the very people who are supposed to be their source of safety, are also a source of fear. The brain just gets stuck. It doesn't know whether to run toward them for comfort or away from them for safety. And that same impossible choice, approach or retreat, gets replayed over and over again in their adult relationships. And this metaphor, man, it just captures that feeling so powerfully. It's two people who desperately want to connect. They're trying to build that bridge to each other, but they're constantly haunted by this terror that everything is about to fall apart at any second. But, and this is the most important part, it does not have to stay this way. There is a path out of the chaos. It involves intentionally remapping your internal world and, with it, your relationship dynamic. This right here, this is the core message of hope. Through really intentional work, you can move from this unstable attachment style to what's known as earned security. And the key word there is earned. It's not something you just find, you earn it by intentionally creating new, healthier patterns for yourself and with your partner. So how do you do it? Well, this journey is basically built on a 3-pillar model. First, positive remapping. You work on your internal world to create a sense of safety inside yourself. Second, metacognitive skills. You develop the ability to pause and just observe your thoughts instead of immediately reacting to them.
And third, collaborative skills, learning to work with your partner as a team, not against them.
Okay, so that's the big picture model. But what are the actual practical tools you need in your toolkit to start walking this new path towards security?
A huge part of this healing process is learning how to differentiate between those wounded, younger parts of yourself that hold all the fear and shame and your calm, capable adult self. And the goal isn't to get rid of those wounded parts, but to have your adult self lead the way with compassion for them.
So what does that adult self look like? Well, it embodies these 8 qualities. And think about it this way. When you can approach a conflict with genuine curiosity about your partner's perspective instead of just immediate accusation, that's progress. Or when you find the courage to stay present and talk things through, even when you're terrified and want to run, that's your adult self leading. These qualities, they become your new internal compass. For a couple in this dynamic, this skill is an absolute game changer. Pragmatic empathy means that when your partner pulls away, you learn to see it not as a personal rejection of you, but as their own fear response kicking in. And this allows you to stay calm and de-escalate the situation instead of getting triggered yourself. Ultimately, all of this work, the internal remapping, the new skills, the pragmatic empathy, it's all leading to one final destination, co-creating the safety that you've both always craved. And safety isn't just some abstract idea. It's built brick by brick through new behaviors. By providing consistency in your actions, reliability in your promises, and creating a genuine feeling of felt safety, you are literally helping to rewire each other's nervous systems for connection instead of fear. And what's the ultimate prize for all this hard work? The relationship itself stops being the source of chaos. Instead, it becomes a secure base, a safe harbor from which you can both go out into the world, grow as individuals, and know you always have a safe place to return to. So, I'll leave you with this to reflect on. The next time you feel that push or that pull from a partner or even from inside yourself, just ask this question. What if this isn't rejection, but self-protection? Shifting that one perspective can be the first step on a whole new path.
Hi, I'm John, and this is I Will Heal. Our curriculum features something for everyone. We know that your pathway to attachment transformation is specific to your pairing. Whether you're an FA with a BA partner or an AD recently discarded by a BA, we have you covered. Say for a while, and we hope you'll say, even if for the first time, I will heal.